Samsung's phones, especially the high-end ones, have always had pretty great cameras. Over the past few years, Samsung focused even more on developing these cameras, and they worked hard to give the camera the ability to zoom in more than any other device on the market. However, what we did not know is that some of these pictures are heavily modified through AI, and the final image that you see is not actually what your camera is picking up. Let me explain. With certain premium phones, like the Samsung S23 Ultra, you get zoomed up to x100. Which is extremely impressive. With such a big number, people's imaginations ran wild, and they started taking pictures of almost anything that is far enough to give their shiny new cameras a challenge, and what could be more challenging than the moon? People started pointing their cameras at the moon with their Samsung cameras, and although the picture would seem blurry and lack any features at first, which is something to expect when you are zoomed in this much, the end result would be a great photo which is detailed and pleasing to look at. As you can see above, despite the huge distance, the end result was quite an impressive image of the moon. If you're like me, and you saw this process in real life, you would think that the camera would take multiple images, put them together, capture more details, and finally give you the detailed end result. However, this did not happen, and instead, this image is edited to look as detailed as possible. According to Reddit user, Ibriak Photos, all of this is just the result of great AI implementation by Samsung's image processing software. He carried out an experiment in which he simply placed an image of the moon as far away from him as possible. This was a slightly unclear image of the moon that was not really very detailed. He would then point the camera towards this image, and he would take a photo with the x100 zoom. And then, the image taken would magically look better than the image of the moon that was being photographed in the first place. How can you take an image of something and make that image look even better than the real thing? The short answer is AI. As soon as you point your phone's camera toward a faraway object while zoomed in this much, your phone will try its hardest to recognize that object through AI. As soon as it recognizes this object, it will do its best to actually modify that image and add as much detail as possible without making the new image look fake or unnatural. I have to say, from the images I have seen in this experiment, Samsung's AI is doing a great job. The moon would be a prime example of that. It is something that people take pictures of quite often, and it is by far one of the easiest things for your phone to recognize no matter how far it is. The side of the moon which faces Earth is always the same due to it being tidally looked. And this means that these enhancements are actually accurate and not overlaid over a side that looks completely different. Samsung got access to a high-quality image of the side of the moon that is always facing us, and since the side that is always facing us is locked, they decided that the moon should always be modified to look this way. Don't get me wrong, the unedited image taken by zoom alone is still quite a good one, but of course, this takes it to a different level. AI simply sharpens it. The AI would even match the phase of the moon. So it won't give you a full moon image when the moon you are currently seeing above you is a crescent, for example. So, when you open your phone settings, you could easily find this feature, and it is called Scene Optimizer. In its description, it says, automatically optimize camera settings to make dark scenes look brighter, food looks tastier, and landscapes more vivid. So, this one does not work only on the moon, but the moon is the most obvious example because AI heavily modifies it. This image editing will be applied to other objects, and it is a smart idea by Samsung, but it gives you a new perspective on photography as a whole. This is a newly implemented feature, and as always, Samsung usually gets a head start on such things, but maybe soon we will see other big companies implement the same feature. So, we could be sitting in a park looking at the moon, and we can decide to take a photo of it together. I would take a picture with my iPhone and you with a Samsung, and despite taking a picture of the exact same moon, we would each get our phone's idea of what the moon should look like. Each company will apply different iterations to AI, and different images will be recognized as being AI modified by different companies. It is weird how fast AI is making its way through everything, and now I am even more excited to see how people are reacting to this, and how well this ages. Maybe in a few years, it will be a mainstay in all phones. Who knows? Hey folks! Want to browse the web safely and without restrictions? Let me introduce you to ExpressVPN, a partner of our channel that helps you do just that. With ExpressVPN, you can protect your online data, unlock content from around the world, and enjoy a faster internet connection. It's like giving your online presence a superhero cape. And here's the best part: by using my special link in the description below, you can save a whopping 50% and get an extra 3 months free. And don't worry, if you're not completely satisfied, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Click the link and grab this exclusive deal.